This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
An ongoing heatwave in China is boosting power demand for cooling, but tepid industrial demand and record-high coal inventories are keeping prices at two-year lows and limiting spot liquefied natural gas (LNG) imports. Analysts do not see coal prices rising or spot LNG imports picking up anytime soon as a sluggish domestic recovery from COVID-19 curbs and shrinking exports dampen power demand from manufacturers, which account for about two-thirds of electricity use in the world's number 2 economy. China has gotten used to using less LNG, said Alex Seo, lead Asia gas and LNG analyst at pricing agency ICIS.
U.S. crude oil stockpiles fell unexpectedly last week as refiners cranked out fuel to the highest level since 2019 during the Memorial Day holiday, the Energy Information Administration, EIA, said on Wednesday. Refinery crude runs rose by 482,000 barrels per day, BPD, while refinery utilization rates increased by 2.7 percentage points in the week to its highest level since August 2019. Refiners have to have some sense that demand is pretty good moving forward from here, so that's going to draw down on crude oil storage, said Bob Yorga, Director of Energy Futures at Mizuho.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
India's fuel demand in May rose 9.7% year-on-year, while diesel sales continue to climb to hit a fresh peak. Data from the Petroleum Planning and Analysis Cell, PPAC, of the Oil Ministry showed. Consumption of fuel, a proxy for oil demand, totaled 20.03 million tons in May, up from 18.54 million tons in April, according to the data released on Wednesday. Sales of diesel, mainly used by trucks and commercially run passenger vehicles, increased around 5.1% in May to 8.22 million tons from a month earlier, the highest ever, as per PPAC data going back until 1998.
Bangladesh is facing its worst electricity crisis since 2013, a Reuters analysis of government data shows, due to erratic weather and difficulty paying for fuel imports amid declining forex reserves and value of its currency. With forecasts for more heat waves and the peak power use months of July to October approaching, the country's power minister recently warned that outages in the South Asian country, home to 170 million people, could continue in the coming days. Bangladesh, the world's second-largest garments exporter behind China supplying global retailers including Walmart, H&M and Zara, has been forced to cut power for 114 days in the first 5 months of 2023, a Reuters analysis of power grid data showed. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Most base metal prices fell on Thursday as Canada's interest rate hike fueled fears of hawkish central banks, while investors and traders cautiously awaited China's stimulus measures. 3-month aluminium on the LME edged up 0.3% to $2,226.50 per metric ton. Nickel decreased 0.2%. Zinc declined 1.6%. Lead fell 1.1% and tin eased 0.4%. Canada and Australia surprised markets by hiking interest rates, while markets are now pricing in a possibility that U.S. rates could stay higher for longer, which could eventually hurt demand for metals.
Gold rose on Thursday on a slight pullback in the dollar, but investor caution surrounding the Federal Reserve's interest rate strategy and other economic cues that may influence it kept bullion hemmed in a relatively tight range. Spot gold rose 0.4% to $1,946.58 per ounce by 0937 GMT after shedding 1% in the previous session. U.S. gold futures rose 0.2% to $1,961.50. Offering some respite to gold, the dollar index eased 0.2%, but was still close to its highest in nearly 3 months.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo on Thursday called for better collaboration with neighboring Malaysia to fight what he called discrimination against the country's palm oil products, as a new European Union law threatens to dent exports of the commodity. The EU passed a law this year banning imports of commodities linked to deforestation, a move that is expected to hurt palm oil. Indonesia and Malaysia are the world's top 2 producers and exporters of palm oil, a commodity used in everything from lipstick to pizza. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.